try this one. Can you guys hear me now? How about now? Hello? Come on, we're going to get this. Oh, you can hear me now. Sweet! Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. I'm a fucking genius. All right, let's do it. Here we go. All right, and we're back in the podcast. We had a little technical difficulties there. It's been like 2 weeks since we fired this thing up, but we're rocking on all cylinders now. All right, so welcome, people, to the Uncle Turtle Boy book club. What we're going to do right now is go ahead and share this on the Clarence page. Let people know that we can be found over here. We live. Do that. And boom. And take this through. All right, we're good now. So, all right, so people can find us over there now. Welcome, folks. Glad to be back with you, nice, fine people. It's been a while now. I hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope Santa was kind to you all. He loves us more, right? Because we're very nice. We expose the naughty people. I'm popping a Turtle Boy Book Club cherry tonight. I always love to do that. Laura can't stay long, obviously, because she's over in merry old England, where it's like 3 in the morning right now. Blimey. How much longer till you totally give up on Facebook, man? I wish soon, man. I feel like we're, kind of slowly getting away from Facebook a little bit. Like today, we lost the Turtle Boy Sports Returns page, and I just don't even care. Like for the first time, a page went down. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. Like we'll get it back. We're gonna get it back. Obviously, we always get these pages back. We just hit the freaking, report button a million times. But I almost don't even care if it comes back. Right? Like, as long as I have Clarence, I'm good. All right? As long as we got that. And then we got Phil Prentice. Those ones actually work better, even though they have smaller followings, whatever. Obviously, I'd like to keep the pages, but it's gay, man. It is what it is, right? It's just like, you can't do anything on there. Everything's fucking bullying now. It's insane. And we're seeing this today. We got a blog coming up on this. Someone's going to be doing one less now. Yes, YouTube is way less SJW than Facebook. The difference with YouTube and Facebook, right, is that Facebook just shuts you down. YouTube just lets you keep going. They just steal your money. That's the difference, right? Like, you have to have 1,000 subscribers to monetize your videos, right? And we're getting close to 1,000, and honestly, we're probably going to make like pennies, and we're not in this for the money, obviously, doing this. This is just a different, way to communicate with you people. But, yeah, we're not going to, make much money off it. But if you have, millions of followers on YouTube, then you're monetizing it. They throw up a bunch of commercials, right? And ads and stuff like that. And that's how you make money. Unless you do, you say something offensive towards the transgender community, in which case you're no longer going to have ads and they're going to steal your money, basically. With us, we're not really in it for the money. We just want to be heard. That's it. We just want to exist on your platform. And YouTube seems to be kind to that. So, hey, we'll give it a shot. Right? Obviously, it's different from Facebook in that, when you're all commenting right now, this is not showing up on your friends' feeds. But you know what? We can, throw it in there. Yeah, Silent Cal's 28. He says, some 20-something-year-old told me that the other day. I mean, it's kind of true. It's kind of true. It's just getting gay. It's not cool anymore, man. Like, if you can't say what you want on there and have fun, if everything is quote-unquote bullying, then your platform's gay. And I hate that you can't even say that something's gay anymore. This shit's mad gay. Like, that's how we said things in the 90s, right? This is like, yo, quit being such a fag, dude. That shit's gay. But now you can't say that, right? Even though gay people do pretty goddamn well in this country. You can't even say gay anymore, right? But guess what? I'm the kind of guy that you can't tell me I can't do things, right? That's me in a nutshell, right? That's the essence of free speech. That's what this book is all about. Don't tell me what I can and cannot say. Right? I'm free. I'm yearning to be free. By definition, basically it. And you know what? You guys heard of the Pop Squad? We got a blog coming out of them soon. Pop Squad is this kind of vigilante group that we've done blogs on them before. They catfish sexual predators into thinking that they're meeting up with 14-year-olds or whatever, and then they get them on video. They got in trouble for what Maude tried to get us in trouble for, right? for bullying or like causing someone to commit suicide. They got this guy who turned out to be a gay Jamaican Jehovah's Witness who thought he was meeting up with a 14-year-old boy, and he ends up killing himself, right? As soon as he goes, yeah, we got your license plate, your family's going to see this, whatever. So NBC News does this hit piece on Pop Squad, making the child predator out to be the victim, right? Like he was bullied by these people, they're evil, this and that, these vigilantes, they're doing the works the cops should be doing. It's like, what? What? They're reporting on predators in the community and exposing them. It's not their fault if those people go home and kill themselves. Now, we can talk about their tactics if you'd like. Now, personally, what I would do, when I see these videos and I see these child predators on there and they always get caught or whatever, 99% of them are assholes and you don't feel bad for them at all, right? If this kid was like, he's a gay kid, he's conflicted, it doesn't excuse anything, obviously, right? But the fact of the matter is, he hasn't fucked any kids yet. And I think that should count for something. You haven't actually fucked a child yet. So you're not a child fucker yet. You have child fucking inclinations. You just haven't, had the chance yet. Now, what I think in that situation, what I might have done, right, is I would have videotaped these guys. And if his kid was fucking crying, oh, I'm a fucking gay Jehovah's Witness from Jamaica, blah, blah, blah. I'm a look at guy. I'm going to level with you here. I have the power to ruin your fucking life right now. You're basically my slave from this point on, right? I want you to report into me every fucking other day. Let me know your whereabouts. If I see you doing anything shady, this goes up. And I destroy your life. Because that's just Turtle Boy. That's just what we're about, like, improving behavior around here. We don't want to destroy people. But you know what? I don't fault Pop Squad for doing what they do. They're doing a public service, right? I don't know if you guys follow Pop Squad. Yeah, it did happen to Chris Hansen. It all started with To Catch a Predator, right? That show on, what was it, NBC? And then they got in all types of shit because all these, like, ACLU and all these groups were like, oh, it's offended, you're picking on people. Shut the fuck up. And that's what Turtle Boy Sports Returns was taken down for today because we were quote-unquote bullying. Who the fuck are we bullying? I'm so sick of that word bullying. And that's what Pop Squad got in trouble for, too. You're bullying. First of all, what the fuck do you think the mainstream media does? Answer me that. Riddle me that, guys. Right? Every time you turn on the news, right, there's always some, like, oh, here's another white woman calling the cops on a black kid. We're going to throw her on the 6 p.m. news and give you her name. For what purpose? For what purpose? So the entire country can bully this woman and gang up on her. Now, is she a victim? No. She put herself out there. But at the same time, don't act like the mainstream media doesn't do this every single day. What do you think they do to Donald Trump? Seriously. And his stupid kids. What do you think they do to him? Every fucking day. They like micro in, and he does it right back to them. He bullies them. Right? He's got 60 fucking million followers on Twitter. And he just makes fun of everyone. So the President of the United States and the mainstream media outlets can like shit on people constantly using their platforms. But we can't, and Pop Squad can't. Why? Why? The people we are shaming are much more deserving of shaming than the people that the mainstream media tries to shame. I mean, do you guys agree? I mean, Maude is not a good person. Maude should be bullied in a just society. Not bullied, that's the wrong word because I hate that word. It's not bullying. She should be shamed. She should be ashamed of her behavior because it's awful. Maude is a bad human being. Maybe bad's not the word for her. Maude is sick. Maude is very sick. Do we all? I don't even have to explain to Maude. She's like the most famous Turtle Boy character of the year. I would say, I don't know about you guys, I would say that Maude has a solid lock on a 1 seed in Ratchet Madness next year. No? I mean, who's going to be ahead of Maude? I think she right now, Maude might be the favorite to win Ratchet Madness. The thing is, she's just not that ratchet, right? She's not like your typical, she doesn't have tattoos and smoke Newports and sell food stamps. She's Hingham ratchet, you know what I mean? Upper middle class ratchet, right? But, shame and humility go hand in hand. And what the hell is wrong with humility? What the hell is wrong with bringing people down to earth a little bit? Maude needed to get brought down, right? Maude was lying. Maude lied about being raped. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. The Hingham police have confirmed it. All of her friends in school have confirmed it. Logic has confirmed it. She lied about being gang raped. Why'd she lie? To win beauty contests, okay? And once she started losing beauty pageants, that is when she pretended to be offended by a Me Too joke, which was completely harmless. It was like a dad joke. It wasn't even a joke, right? And she also lied about having cancer. I mean, Maude needs serious psychological help. Maude can't stop lying, right? She lies about winning road races that she cheats in. She is obsessed with herself. It's just not a healthy thing that she's got going on there on Instagram, right? And she's living in an online world. I think this is a problem with social media, right? It creates two worlds, reality and social media. And these people like Maude have no friends in reality. She can't make friends in real life. So she has to make social media friends. But they're not really her friends, right? They're just the people that kiss her ass because she presents herself as something that she is not, right? And I think, and that's kind of what we're getting into tonight with chapter 16, right? And chapter 16, oh, she has videos on YouTube, great. We're discussing chapter 16. Chapter 16 is real news, as we called it. And this is a big chapter in the book, right? Because we talked a lot about the different stories we've done. If you're an old school tour writer, then you were like kind of revisiting a lot of these. But it was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that a lot of you probably did not know about what was going on, etc. And these are the most important blogs we do because they establish our credibility, right? That we are not just some smut network, right? That, we shame poor people and blah, blah, blah. No. We do real work that the mainstream media is too lazy to do, right? They feed, and Donald Trump, and it's all based, this chapter is based on Trump. It all comes back to Trump, right? That, Trump overuses the term fake news. When he says fake news, he's just saying shit he doesn't like. Although, oftentimes it is fake, okay? He just overuses it too much, so it's like the boy who cried wolf. You know what I mean? Not everything can be fake, right? And some of the criticism of him is legitimate. Others are not. He has to know that deep down inside. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's a mod. I don't know. All right. I'm not here to talk about him. I'm here to talk about fake news. All he did was point out what most of us already saw, right? And what happened? He got crucified for it. And now anyone who doesn't believe the news is real all the time gets lumped in with Trump. It's like if you are not a corporate shill, you are a Trumpite. When did that become a thing, right? Like, and this is what it's like. Conservatism has become punk rock. Like, if you're into Donald Trump, you're into like dangerous shit. You know what I mean? The establishment doesn't want you to like Donald Trump. They want you to like, here's the news, shut up and eat it. This is it. Don't ask any questions. Okay. But you can't trust them. And we saw that in Ferguson and we saw that with the Baltimore riots, right? With Freddie Gray. They just present this picture to you it's not that it's fake, right? It's that what they choose to highlight isn't the most important story of the day, if that makes sense. You got a 30-minute time slot to fill, right, with the news. And you can fill it with whatever stories you want to fill. And they choose, like, why Michael Brown? Why? Like, Michael Brown was just a fucking criminal that got shot by a cop. That's not news. But they turned it into news, right? And they turned it into this white versus black thing. And it was just fake, man. Fake, right? CNN, I go to the gym every day on CNN. It's just nonstop Freddie Gray bullshit. And it's like, but Freddie Gray's a fucking drug dealer that died when he got a rough ride. Big fucking deal. That's not news. So, anyway, to borrow an overuse saying, conservatives are the new college counterculture. It's sad but true. It's really hard to make Ted Cruz punk rock. But somehow the left has managed to do that. I don't know how, right? Ted Cruz is like, yo, you like Ted Cruz? You live life dangerously now. Like, what? Ted fucking Cruz? That guy is as square as you get. I don't think I could like being conservative any more than I did. Then you made it more appealing by making it. I mean, no, it is. It's fucking like a rebellion. You're like going against your parents. You're like, yo, you like fucking Donald Trump? What the fuck's wrong with you? You're like, yeah, dude. I like fucking rock and roll too, man. I dig that shit, man. I dig it. It's fucking say whatever you want. Say what's really on your mind. Fuck it. Like it's a weird culture that man has created, but I kind of like it. So anyway. Back to the book, right? You know, and so the book kind of talks about this chapter, and then it goes on to talk about incidents in which we started realizing the news was fake locally. Who remembers the Lunenburg story, right? That fake, the way the media presented it, right? There was some graffiti on a house in Leominster, Lunenburg, I apologize, and a bunch of kids. It was blamed on the Lunenburg football team. This kid was 1/4 black. 1/4, and it said like N-words don't play for Lunenburg or something stupid like that. And, you know, it was all investigated. I thought it was legit at the time because I wasn't that familiar with fake news yet. And Turtle Boy was literally in its infant stages, I want to say. Or maybe Aiden from Worcester was still around. I don't even remember. But it was like when it first came around, it's like, I believed it because why wouldn't I believe it? This is what the news is telling me is real. Well, guess what? I should have questioned it from day one. Now I know. Now I know the difference. When you see shit like that, you should always question it. And guess what? It turns out Mom did it. And she didn't clean up the mess very well. She left the fucking spray paint cans in the yard because the goddamn FBI, man. The FB freaking I. The ones that like look for bank robbers and shit. They came and they're the ones looking for Whitey Bulger. They came to Lunenburg. That's how serious racism is. People act like racism is the biggest deal that ever existed in this country, right? You're better off being called a pedophile than a racist. And so it turns out it was all her. But guess what? Those kids at Lunenburg, they all lost their Thanksgiving game. Blah, blah, blah. They never got that back, right? We saw some other stories here. How about the SUNY Albany story? How about that, right? Let me see if who ended up reporting that it was fake. Was it MSM News Channel? It was. I mean, eventually it got reported as fake because the FBI got up and left. They're like, we're out of here. And they're like, they reported to the media that we found paint cans in her yard and she admitted to doing it. And she was never fucking arrested for it. Never arrested. Let me find a Hillary Clinton tweet. It's not even there anymore. There's no excuse for racism and violence on college campus. If you guys recall, there was an incident there in which 3 black girls said they got beat up by like 12 white kids on a bus yelling racial slurs at them. As soon as we heard that, we're like, nah. You know why you say nah to a story like that? Because you can't imagine it happening. 12? Maybe one. Maybe one drunk guy being stupid. Maybe. But 12? Come on. Not in fucking Albany. Get the fuck out of here. No way. And so there's candlelight vigils, and it turns into a whole thing, and Hillary Clinton tweets out a link to the story, which, as you can see, no longer exists because it turned out not to her presidential bid. And that's what's fucking wrong with fake news. That's the danger of it, right? Is that politicians just see a fucking headline, and they're like, oh, man, racism's everywhere. And now she can use this as a platform to run on. I am the person that's going to protect America from these racist bigots that are everywhere. It's all based on a fucking lie, man. And it's like, one thing I have realized, I used to think the media was neutral. It's not, man. It's left wing, except for Fox News, pretty much, right? They all just fucking, like, they feed them, the media feeds Hillary Clinton a story that benefits her agenda, and boom. And guess what? There's no fucking follow-up on it. All 3 of those girls ended up getting arrested for lying. They're liars. Yeah. Talcum X, absolutely. Talcum X is a perfect example of that. He lied about a woman being raped, right? And so by a cop and put his name out there. He doesn't lose his blue check mark. He gets to stay on social media. Yeah. Martin Luther Cream. So anyway, yeah, basically the kid wanted to go to Leominster instead of Lunenburg because Leominster's better at football. That's all it comes down to. Leominster's a great football school, traditionally. Lunenburg's not. And he got exactly what he wanted. He got to transfer to Leominster and play there for the next 4 years there. He's probably 18 now. He's probably a huge dickhead. So, anyway, the book goes on. If you guys have any questions about this chapter, feel free to let me know. And I'm just going to kind of cruise along here. So, yeah, they never talk about like, the follow-ups and all this shit. And so that's kind of what we do. We kind of like look for stories like that. And in the book, we go over all like some of these stories that we broke. The really old school one, which you guys weren't even around for, came in. This was before Busgate, right? There was an incident in which P.K. Subban from the Canadiens at the time came to Boston and they beat us. And it's like, oh, Boston fans being racist again. And the media runs with the story. Well, guess what? You know what I did? I went and found out. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. It was 8 tweets, a total of 8 tweets. It was those 8 tweets that contained the words Subban and the N-word were retweeted 22,000 times. So it's not that 22,000 people said this. It's that 8 people said it, and then 22,000 people tried to shame them. That was the real story. And then I wanted to find out who these 8 people were. So you just go on their profiles. These people are from Ottawa, Vancouver. Not a single one of them was from Boston. And they're just trolls in their mother's basements. Right? They're of no significance. That's not fucking news. And that's what I mean by fake news. That's not news. 8 idiots on Twitter say racist shit. Therefore, the entire city of Boston is racist? Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Right? So that's why we exist at Turtle Boy, to expose the false narrative that it's, highlighted. And we talked about this. The North Brookfield hate crime. Remember that kid that got a ratchet thrown at him? Never followed up on that, did they? Right? The Malden chicks who pretended they were, who weren't even real lesbians, who said they were beaten up for being lesbians. Meanwhile, the chick just started a fight. Okay? There's a bunch of these. The Westfield State incident last year, right? The White Lives Matter written on that building in Roxbury. Oh, of course, the Smith College girl, who we wrote about 1 billion times this summer. But the worst of them all was what happened at Fenway Park, right? When Adam Jones was accused Boston fans of calling him the N-word. Guess what, guys? That never happened, ever. That never fucking happened. The media reported it as if it was a fact that it happened. You know why it didn't happen? Because he said it happened repeatedly throughout the game and that it came from the bleachers while he was in center field. You would have to be 50 feet away from Adam. Wait, probably more than that, right? If you were in the bleachers in Fenway Park, how far are you away from the center fielder? Like 30 yards, something like that? Do you realize how loud you would have to be? How loud, the volume, to be able to speak over everyone else in the bleachers and reach Adam Jones' eardrum repeatedly throughout the game? If you were to yell the N-word, it's unlike any other word in the English language. It is the most startling and neck-turning word there is. When you hear somebody shout that word, especially with the hard ER at the end, not the A, the ER, right? When you hear someone shout that, you're like, ooh, man, whew, easy, dude, fucking easy. Whoa, where'd that come from? Like, it's like the kind of word that's like, whoa, take it easy, bro. Whoa, fucking wrong century, dude. Like, if anybody said that once, never mind throughout the whole fucking game, everybody in the bleachers would have remembered everyone would have taken a picture, a video of him. Everyone would have remembered where there would have been so many witnesses. But there wasn't a single fucking person that confirmed this, not one. Except for some kid named Nico. And speaking of fake news, Mike Lupica, the famed Sports Illustrated sports writer, finds Nico. Some kid Nico tweets at Lupica, and he's like from Woburn, and he's like, I was there. I got the story. And so Lupica interviews him like it was a fact. And he's like, yeah, they were serving beer, and the beer guy cut him off because he was so drunk, and that was the tell. Because guess what? Everyone who's ever been to Fenway knows that there's no beer guys in the bleachers. Right? Those are the cheap seats. You got to go get the beer yourself. They don't bring them to you there. It was so obvious. Right? And so we reached out to him on Twitter and we confronted him about it. We're like, Nico, man, we get what you're doing here, dude. You're a fucking high school kid. You pranked Mike Lupica. You're feeling good, dude, but you caused a lot of damage, brother. You got to admit that you did something wrong here. And he's like, well, what if I did? And then it was just so obvious. Nico was fucking lying. Nico deactivates his Twitter account, show the whole thing to Lupica. He ignores it. And that's what I mean by fake news. So don't tell me that we're not real news. We're the only one that's real. And guess what? We get called for that. We get called racist and bigoted. Not that we even called Adam Jones a liar, that we even questioned it, right? We even questioned it. Kurt Schilling retweeted our story about it. We actually interviewed beer guys. Not beer guys, I apologize. Vendors. I think it was like a peanut guy we interviewed from that section. He's like, I was walking up and down that section the whole day. Not a single person said a word. Nobody said the N-word there. It's a lie. Kurt Schilling retweets us. And now we're associated with him, which isn't always the best thing because he's a little crazy on Twitter. And next thing you know, we're being accused, like, oh, Kurt Schilling citing some Turtle Boy website? What is this? And that's what I hate about it. It's like, if you're not NBC News or CNN, people are like, yo, that can't be real. What the fuck's Turtle Boy? Well, how about you actually look at what the body of work has done? We've done so many more big stories than any of these like, CNN's big story is like, you know, like, we caught President Trump in a lie. He said that there was a bigger crowd size. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. No, that's not news. News is like you do a state police story. That's fucking news, right? Catch this guy, Adam Jones, in a lie. That's news. So, yeah. Obviously, yeah, I should be paying attention to these live comments, but I'm just on a roll right now. What are people? The only one who had the brains of picking up on a picture. Yeah, in fact, different time. Exactly. The bleachers are usually families that can afford expensive tickets. Yeah. Yankees suck. Yeah, I've had a baby. But Mary don't need to know because there's enough people who believe it. Yeah. Adam Jones sucks and Baltimore sucks. Yeah, obviously. This is why I love Minahan. Yeah, absolutely. And this is why Minahan is no longer working at WEI. Because he questioned the same thing too. And even if you questioned it, you were called a racist. Right? Even if you questioned it. So, have you ever watched Schilling highlights of his whole career? Like, holy shit, how he's not in the Hall of Fame. I know, like, Kurt Schilling. Sorry, Rant. It is a fucking travesty that Kurt Schilling is not in the Hall of Fame. And he probably never will be. And that's why he'll never go to the Hall of Fame, because it's fucking fake. It's stupid. All the Hall of Fame is a bunch of self-fucking righteous sports writers trying to justify their own existence. This is the BBWA. What a bunch of douchebags, right? They fucking jerk off on the fact that they get a Hall of Fame ballot. And then after they cast their votes, they go and write a fucking column about why I didn't vote for this guy. This fucking lughead, Bill Ballou, over at the Worcester Telegram and Gazette, isn't voting for Mariano Rivera. That's a fucking crime. Mariano fucking Rivera is the greatest closer and relief pitcher in general in Major League Baseball history. With or without the save being a stat. He won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 World Series. Fucking 5, man. That's as many rings as Tom Brady. 5. And he was an integral part of that team. He didn't even, people forget, Mariano Rivera didn't used to be the closer. On their 96 team, John Wetland was the closer. He was the setup guy. But he was fucking dominant in that role too. He could have started on the Yankees if you wanted. And I'm a Red Sox fan and I'm saying this shit. If you're not going to vote for Mariano Rivera, get the fuck out. And he writes this column about, Mariano Rivera, here's why I'm not fucking voting for him. I'm not clicking on your clickbait, Bill. Fuck off. This is just you looking for fucking attention. And the Turtlegram and Gazette trying to become relevant. Shut the fuck up. No one cares why you didn't vote for Mariano Rivera. And that's what it comes down with Schilling too. It's like, well, Dan Shaughnessy over at the Boston Globe not voting for him because his character. Character? Why? Because he's a conservative? That's what it comes down to? Because he's a crazy right-winger? Who gives a fuck? If it was the boats return and he was a crazy left-winger supporting Antifa, that wouldn't be a problem, would it? Of course not. Give me a break. Kurt Schilling is the most clutch postseason starting pitcher in our lifetime. Stop it. Not only did he win 2 World Series with the Red Sox, including the infamous 2004 Bloody Sock, but a lot of people forget his more dominant performance in 2001 for the Arizona Diamondbacks, right? In which he started games 1, 4, and 7. He started and won 3 fucking games in the same World Series. And he ended the Yankees dynasty, right? The Yankees up until that point, they won in 96, 98, 99, and 2000. And they should have won in 2001. But then Curt Schilling and his big old dick came along and said, I'm ending this shit right now. And that was the end of the Yankees dynasty. They have won one World Series since then, in 2009. Okay? I know kids these days, right? I have a cousin who is 17 years old. He told me in the Red Sox-Yankee series, he's from Chicago. He's Uncle Pat's kid, actually. And he said, I'm like, who are you going for in the World Series? Who are you going for, the Red Sox or Yankees in this division? You know what he says to me? I'm going for the Yankees because they never win. And it blew my fucking mind. We have become the Yankees. We've won 4 times this century. They've won once. That's it. The kids these days think the Yankees are a loser franchise. They don't understand. They think the Red Sox are the evil empire. It's like, holy shit. And Curt Schilling is the guy that did that. The fact he's won 3 World Series and he was instrumental in all of them. He's got as many wins and strikeouts as Pedro freaking Martinez, over 200. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is a fucking joke. Fucking joke. All right? Unbelievable. Yeah, you have to win it to get there. Yeah. So I apologize. Yeah, David Ortiz is guaranteed. I don't want to. I never talk about sports, but I love fucking sports, and I'll talk about it right now. Right? If David Ortiz doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, if Manny Ramirez doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, if Alex Rodriguez doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, then it's a fucking joke. It is. I don't need Mark McGwire to get in there because he wasn't all that good most of his career, and then he took steroids and he hit 70, right? Same with Sammy Sosa. Those guys are a joke. But Barry Bonds better fucking get in because Barry Bonds was dominant in his whole career. He didn't need to take steroids, right? If the best players of our lifetime don't get into the Hall of Fame because they took steroids, which everyone else is fucking doing, then it's a fucking joke. David Ortiz not getting in the Hall of Fame. Give me a fucking break on that one. Give me a break. So yeah. No DH is made it. Oh, if David Ortiz doesn't, no DH has ever made the Hall of Fame. You sure Harold Baines wasn't a DH? Edgar Martinez better get into the friggin' Hall of Fame. He might not get in. I don't care if Bonds cheated. I don't care if A-Rod cheated. I don't care if Manny cheated. Guess what? The pitchers they were going against were cheating too. Roger Clemens was cheating too. And Roger Clemens should get in the Hall of Fame as well. They should all get in. They're the greatest players of my lifetime. All right? Let them all in. Anyway, so that's my rant about sport ball there for a moment. Yes, saves to Edgar Martinez. Yeah, Edgar Martinez is a fringe, but you got to get, if people like, I'm saying, if Craig Biggio gets in the Hall of Fame, there's nobody in my lifetime who is more slightly above like average and like, you know, a borderline all-star than Craig Biggio, right? Craig Biggio got in the Hall of Fame because he plays second base. That's it. If he played any other position, he wouldn't get in. Give me a break, Craig Biggio. If that guy gets in and not A-Rod, yeah, I know A-Rod's a fucking douchebag, but A-Rod is one of the perennial hitters of our lifetime, man. We grew up. A-Rod was the fucking guy, dude. Frank Thomas just got in, no problem. You don't think Frank Thomas was juicing his face off? Give me a break. Come on. So anyway, let's get off of sports for a moment and let's go back to the book. Talk about some real news here. So yeah, we talked about a lot about there and some of these stories. And if you have any questions about this chapter in general, let me know because this is a really good chapter. We talked about the Bob Murchison thing, right? And my boys over at WEI and how we got that story. And a lot of these real big stories, these are mine, man. These are the ones I do because they have to be done right. And I trust Bristol to do these stories, and I trust South Shore Turtle Girl to do these stories, but I don't really trust anyone else, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't. They're too important, these stories, right? Like, the rest of the bloggers, they do easy hitters, right? Like, go get me a Ratchet story, do a Ratchet story. But the Per Cat Cafe one, that was South Shore Turtle Girl. That was our first multi-part series that we did. Bristol did the Sedania stories. I had Manchester do the dog stories this summer, the off-leash training. Didn't go very well. I don't know if you guys read those ones. God bless her soul. But she wasn't cut out for the investigative shit. All right? It is what it is, right? I realize that not everyone can do those stories. And since they're the most important stories that we do, only me and the people that I really trust the most can do that. I have tiers of bloggers. Obviously, my main two that I trust the most more than anyone are South Shore Turtle Girl and Bristol. That's it. Right? So, but I love them all, but those are the two I trust the most. It is what it is. Yeah, I did take a drink of water. General question, where can I find a book besides Amazon? I don't want to give them business. You can only find it on Amazon. What do you have against Amazon, man? Yeah, Biggio was Pedroia before Pedroia. Pedroia's won an MVP, though. Biggio never won an MVP. And I don't think Biggio ever won a World Series either. Pedroia's got 2. Anyway, who exposed Leigha? I wrote that story. I wrote the Leigha Genduso story. When I got that email, man, oh my God. And by the way, before I go into Leigha, I don't know what you guys have against Amazon. Amazon's the only tech company that does good. They're the only legit one that I have no problem with being a monopoly. You know why? Because Amazon doesn't fucking kick you off for having political opinions. They're in it for one reason and one reason alone, money. That's why Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world, because all he cares about is money, man. That's it. He'll take anybody on his platform. And they do a great service, man. The book gets to you pretty freaking quickly, doesn't it? So I love Amazon. I love it. So please give them my business and your business. And without them, it would cost me a lot more money to go to a book binder and get this done. And then I would have to send them out myself. It would probably cost a lot more money. You don't want that. Go to Amazon, man. They don't contribute the tax revenue. I mean, that's one thing that's kind of bullshit about it is that these cities give them tax breaks to move there. They basically bribe them and they're they shop around to see who's going to give them the biggest tax break. I feel like that should be illegal. I don't know. It just seems like that ain't right. But anyway, are comments with swears blocked? I don't think so. Well, thank you, Toxic Sound. I appreciate that. All right. Anyway, let's get off of that. Let's talk, the Genduso stuff. When I got the Genduso email, it's from this source that has turned out to be a great fucking source, this guy. This guy's the man. I don't even know his name. But he sends me emails a lot. And when I got that, I was actually on the dumper. And it was a Friday. And I remember because I was driving to Pittsburgh that night because my brother had a kid and we were going out there to Pittsburgh to see him. And I got it, right? And I'm reading this deposition on the throne and I'm holy shit, no pun intended, reading this whole thing. Oh my fucking God. This state trooper is admitting to all this shit. She's a major fucking drug dealer. This can't be real, but it is. It says her fucking name right on there. I'm this can't be real. No way this fucking chick became a state trooper. Now, we had just done a blog about her, briefly, a month before, because the blog was really about her corrupt ex-boyfriend, Dan Ristine, and his involvement with the Tim Burry crash and covering that up, because he was also involved in the Ali Bebo story, and she was just collateral damage as part of that story. And it was oh yeah, and he's banging this hot little trooper. And she got all mad about it, and she's I was Facebook friends with her with Clarence. I didn't even know who this chick is. She liked the blog because she's, police like the blog in general. And she messages me and she's get your facts straight. Okay. You want me to get my facts straight? I'm going to get my facts straight, honey. Be careful what you wish for, though. Because I got them real straight. Really straight. Okay. Because people could not wait to turn her in, man. I'll tell you, the people involved in that who sent me all that information, they were very sympathetic towards Sean Bucci, who, he was a drug dealer too, pot dealer, technically, right? So I don't have that much sympathy for him, but I kind of do because it's he took the whole fucking rap. Why does she get off when she's a fucking partner in this, right? And she just rats on him? She had a chance to rat on him and she blew it. She committed perjury. And then she got another chance. And they gave them everything. She gave all the answers that the state wanted. And then this guy goes to jail for 12 years for fucking pot. Give me a break. And she gets rewarded with being a trooper. And they're like, kind of like showing her off, like, you know, with the dog and shit like that. It's like, give me a break. Give me a break with this chick, right? Stop it. You're not this like shining light. You're a fucking pot dealer. I bought weed off of you in fucking 2004. Stop it. So that's what kind of pissed me off about that one, was the way she was like treated by all these people because she was a woman. Let's be honest. If she wasn't a nice looking young woman, she never would have got the canine job. Nothing. So yeah, fuck her. I'm loving all these blogs exposing handicap spots. You have no idea how often we get messages about that now. It's ideas from people. I'd like to do more. They're very time consuming, but that one was a pleasure, man. I couldn't wait. I could not fucking wait to write that story. I'm like, oh, I'm just sitting on this thing. And it's a weird feeling, man. It's a weird feeling because I'm like looking at Leigha Genduso update her Facebook page while I'm working on the story. It was her fucking birthday. No, apologize. It was Miriam McGovern's birthday. And she wished her a happy birthday. The woman that was friends with her, the former colonel. And it's a weird feeling because you know what? You're like, holy shit. I am about to destroy her life. She has this vision of life, right? Where she is going to work as a trooper she's going to make $150,000 a year, get a nice pension, and cruise off and have a summer home, and that's it. And little does she know that here I am on my laptop computer ruining her life. And I'm going to press a button that's going to ruin her life. That is a weird feeling right there, right? It's kind of like a weird feeling of power. Like I've never felt this way before. Like to know that the second I hit this publish button, she's fucked. There's going to be no coming back from this, right? And it worked out exactly as I imagined it would with that. Like it was a big fucking deal. She lost her job. It was a huge story. And that was that. Whatever happened to that guy who kicked and killed the turtle? Yeah, she ruined her own life. She did. But she thought she was going to get away with it. That's the thing about it. I mean, it had been 10 years, right? Over 10 years. She thought she was in the clear. And then Turtle Boy comes along, this blog that she liked and followed, fucks her over, you know? Although I kind of resent when people do that. When these ratchets start liking the blog and they think they're like immune, it's like, nah, it's not how it works. Not how it works. Yeah. All right. Anyway, police love the turtle. We appreciate it. We support the police around here. So yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people are like, aren't you afraid that the state police are going to come after you? What? We're supporting the state police, man. Imagine we wrote a blog shitting on your boss. Who wouldn't like that? Everybody likes it when people watch their boss go down in flames. It's a great feeling. Nobody likes their boss. Do you like your boss? I can't have a boss. That's why I run Turtle Boy. Because I hate every boss I've ever had. All right. Aiden did me a favor of not writing a blog about me twice. Oh, stop it. You weren't. Come on. You weren't that relevant. You got drunk a couple times and you said some things. We weren't going to write a blog about you. All right. Read it yet about the Braintree High School basketball story. That was a good one. The Maude stories were obviously great. Obviously. There was the Mosaic and Spencer East Brookfield stories, but the Ron Tarantino one was a real big one, man. And I really hate the fact that we, some of our most successful days, right, are the days in which police officers die. It's a weird thing, right? Because I don't like having our best days on someone else's worst day, right? You know what I mean? It's a weird feeling. You feel like you're profiting off of it. But the fact of the matter is the story needs to be told. It has to be. And we had the Ron Tarantino. We knew who Ron Tarantino's killer was before everyone. And you know how? Because we have great sources. And we have a source from the towing place that towed the car that the cops were looking for. And so guess what they had? They had the license plate and they had the registration. And they knew it belonged to Heather Phillip, who was dating Jorge Zambrano. And they both had open Facebook pages. and we got the word out. Watch out for this douchebag. Because I lived in Webster Square at the time, right? Which is right near the Leicester and Auburn borders of Worcester. And on my running route, I would run by Auburn police officers been killed. And this guy is on the loose. That's scary, man, to know that, like, it's a fucking cop killer out there. If a cop, there's nobody more desperate than a cop killer on the loose. They'll kill anyone to stay free for 5 more minutes. And so it had to be put out there. We had to let the public know. And we found out we had turtle riders on that street in Rochdale who lived there who were live streaming it and sending us videos of it. And we were the first ones to report that motherfucker was dead. And we reported it on our Facebook page. I remember that telling me he's fucking dead. And we reported it. And no other media outlet reported. They called it fake news. Turned out he was fucking dead. We had it like 45 minutes before everyone else. And a lot of people interviewed us. Michelle McPhee had her on, like Michelle McPhee, the Cooner Report, Kirk and Callahan. They all had me on their show. And they asked me, like, how'd you get this information? I'm like, because we got sources, man. Because they feel comfortable coming to us because we're anonymous. That's the beauty of Turtle Boy, is that we can get shit that other people can't because of the anonymous nature of our blog. All right. We did the Food Stamp Friday stories, right? The Central Auto Body stories, that whole scam that they had going on there. All this stuff, right? But the best one, right, and the biggest blog of the year was the Steve Levine one. Did you guys read about my history with Steve Levine? Because I don't want to rehash it all, spoiler alerts. But I did know Steve. And that was a weird situation to be in, right? Because a million people sent us his shit. Because it made the news. When it made the news that he got his home invaded, I heard it was Lamplighter Drive. And I'm like, I know Lamplighter Drive. I used to go there a lot and tutor a guy on that street. I used to tutor his kid, Jesse. And I would go over there, just nice kid and all. And Steve was a little bit weird, I'm not going to lie. Like the first time, he found me on Craigslist because I was offering my AP History services. I'm really good. I'll still do it to this day. If you guys have kids that take AP History, hire me. It'll be the best money you ever spent. I guarantee your kids get at least a 4. At least. Maybe a 5. Right? If they're because I will teach them more history than they could possibly imagine. And so, anyway, Steve hires me on Craigslist. And so I go, he invites me over for dinner. It was weird, like a date. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do that. I'll meet you at your house for the first tutoring session. So I did that, and I met his kid, nice kid. We tutored. Steve was there. He's got a nice house in Shrewsbury, and he was going through a divorce, and he seemed a little eccentric, a little corny, kind of, a little weird, but nice guy, like a real nice guy to me, right? And so I liked Steve. I liked him. Definitely didn't want to be friends with him, but I liked him as a person, right? And more importantly, I thought I was impressed by his level of success because he was a realtor and he lived in a nice house. I judge you based on that. If you live on a nice house in Shrewsbury, I want to know more about you because I want to be you, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know how you achieve this lifestyle because I want this lifestyle. And I have a nice house in Shrewsbury, you know what I mean? Sells a lot of homes around here, kind of well known. So then I hired him to be my realtor, and he didn't do a very good job. He did a good job of selling the house, right? He came in. I liked his style when he came in. He's just like, he's a douchebag, a real big douchebag, but he was different this time around. Now he had long hair and he drove a fucking Harley, and he kept telling me about his girlfriends, which I didn't ask about. And it was almost like he was like trying to show me how cool he was. And I like wasn't impressed because I'm like, dude, just sell my house. You know what I mean? And so he comes in there, and I like the fact I had one realtor who couldn't sell my house in Webster Square. And I'm like, I need a professional dick about it. You know what I mean? But I like that because I think like you can be a dick and be a good businessman, right? But he was also a dick to the other realtors, right? Like they were so rude to them, like just real short with them. And it was because he was always busy. And it turns out it wasn't because he was busy with work. He was busy having fucking orgies in his basement and hog tying chicks up and doing nasty shit to them and putting them online and getting kicked out of kink conventions. Shit like that. And so he sold my house. I got a price that I was happy with. And then he was even worse as a buyer's seller, like as a buyer's realtor. He did good as a seller's realtor, but not so good as the buyer. Like as a buyer, you're supposed to be like, in my opinion, you're supposed to have like a list of homes and take me to them. I don't want to do all the work. I can go on Zillow and find houses in my price range and go see them myself, but that's kind of like how you're supposed to earn your 5%, dude. He didn't do anything of that. And so finally, the house that I'm sitting in right now, they had an open house, so we went to it. And we went to it and we're like, it was a bunch of fucking people at this house. And the house was on the market for way less than it should have been. Our house right now is we bought it 2 years ago. It's worth $60,000 more than we paid for it. We got this house at a ridiculous bargain. I don't know why they sold it for so little. And I realized like this house is going to go fast. So we overbid like $10,000 more than the asking price, right? And we went to Steve with it. And he's just like, okay, let's fill out the paperwork. And I'm kind of thinking, what the fuck do we even need you for? Right? And then he was so unhelpful as far as like getting shit done and getting the water meter checked. And he like talked shit about Margaret Milliken. And it was just a real turnoff, man. And then when all these people start messaging us about the house breaking in his house, and I'm like, something doesn't smell right here. So I texted Steve. And I was like, what's going on with this, man? I'm sorry to hear that. You all right? He's like, yeah, thank God, blah, blah, blah. Like, thank God they only stole my wallet. And I'm like, wow, did you know them? You must have. These are never random, these things. And he's just like, I know you're trying to be helpful, but please just leave me alone. And it was like really condescending. And I took it personally because I'm like, bitch, you know what I do for work. Stop it, Steve. You know I got the power of the pen. Don't tell it. It was like almost like he knew. Like he was like, no, he's like, bitch, I can do whatever I want to you. Because I'm Steve Levine. I'm the fucking man around this parts. I got mad bitches sucking my dick. And I can do whatever I want to you. Because who the fuck are you? Okay. And I didn't want to write about him at first. Mainly because of his son. Because I liked his son a lot. And I'm like, if I do this, his son's going to hate me forever. And I don't want his son to hate me. And so I kind of put some feelers out there in the Shrewsbury group. Like, hey, maybe is this guy telling the truth about this break-in? Because it's fucked up. Because now the whole neighborhood's worrying. And there was the race factor. He said that they were black. Like, come on, man. What is this, fucking 1991? You can't just say you got invaded by black guys anymore if it's not true. Come on now. Can't be doing that shit. So I'm like, you know, Steve, you're testing me, man. And all these people wanted us, and people like agreed, like this thing's shady. South Shore Turtle Girl was fucking begging me. Come on. She was like pissed at me. Pissed. Like, felt betrayed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you protecting this guy? This guy's a fucking predator. And I knew he was. And it was just hard for me to deal with. Because I'd never dealt with like a guy I knew personally like this. And finally, I forget what it was, but I just couldn't deal with him anymore. I'm like, you know what? You do it. Go ahead. You're a big girl. Fucking do it. And she did it. And she did a really good job on it. And it was the biggest blog of the year. And so he texts me the next day, threatening to kill himself. He sends me a picture of the rope. And he's like, he goes, should I do it now? Or should I send her out to the store, my main girlfriend, and have her come back finding me? He sends me a picture of the rope. Luckily, he had plenty of rope lying around so he can hang himself. But of course he doesn't. And I was doing my radio show at the time, and I called the Shrewsbury police. I'm like, yeah, this guy just sent me a picture of rope. He says he's going to kill himself. Might want to head over there. They fucking run over there, raid his house, bring him to the fucking loony bin for a couple hours. He was just fucking around. Of course he's not going to kill him. He's like Maude. These people always lie about suicide. So yeah. If you guys have any questions about that or anything else, let us know. Do you know if he's still in the area? I don't know if he still lives there. He couldn't sell the house at first. Being on Turtle Boy is not good for your property value. And quite frankly, I think it was a little too high. I mean, come on. I understand you live in Shrewsbury, but $620? Give me a break. I've been in your house before. It's a nice house. It ain't that nice. Stop it. It's a good thing he didn't send you a pic of the Sagamore. I know, basically did. Yeah, he talked shit about Margaret. I didn't like that. He talked about like, the lawyer is supposed to be doing this. The lawyer is supposed to be doing that. I'm like, I've sold, I've bought a house before. My lawyer didn't do any of that shit. The lawyer just comes in and signs the paperwork at the end. The lawyer doesn't get the water meter checked. The fuck you talking about? He also left the home inspection, which is like the most important thing. Right? Left it. And there's like a lot of questions that I should know that like a lot of questions I wouldn't ask if you guys ever bought a home before, right? That the realtor will ask. Like asking questions about fucking soffit vents and roofs and shit like that I wouldn't ask. Right? And so, yeah. Anyway, any other questions? Yeah. The stream went down? Is that right? Dinner? Is that what you call it? Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, Shrewsbury has a lot of meth heads because Shrewsbury's a city, man. Shrewsbury's almost the size of Fitchburg. But obviously, there's a lot of money in Shrewsbury. I wouldn't want to live in Shrewsbury simply because of the traffic sucks in certain places, but there are some nice... Shrewsbury is one of the nicest towns in central Massachusetts to live in as far as wealth. There's a lot of wealth in Shrewsbury. A lot of doctors that work in Worcester to live in Shrewsbury. I'll tell you one thing. If you have Indians and Asians in your town, a lot of them, you're doing something right. And Shrewsbury's got a lot of that. Yeah, he'd already checked out his realtor. He didn't give a fuck. His heart wasn't in realtor. His heart's into gangbanging. Like, Steve should just become a fucking full-time porn star. His dick is a little small for that, though, I have to say. I saw his dick many times. I didn't need to see that. But it wasn't meant for porn. Let's just say that. Yeah. Any other questions that you guys have before we call it a day? Yeah, the Worcester City Motel. That's where all the politicians go to bang their mistresses. That's where Steve should have gone. The Worcester City Motel. Yeah, I was going to say, Grafton's a nice town, man. Westboro, very much like Shrewsbury. It's like a mini Shrewsbury. All right, any questions you guys have? Let it out now. What's tomorrow's chapter on? Tomorrow's chapter is on, what was it? The most offensive, controversial blogs we've published. Yeah, so this blog, this chapter, read it all. I don't need to rehash the whole thing. But I think you guys get the point now. Any follow-up on the yellow cab driver? Yeah, I supposed to do a follow-up on that today. I guess they never got around to it. It's a little frustrating when our bloggers don't get around to shit. But, hey, you know what? It's a part-time job. I can't make them do it. I know it has been too long. I miss talking to you guys. It felt weird getting back on here today. Felt weird. I missed you too, Melissa. All right. Is there any way to get Brett on the YouTube show? Brett will be on the live show. He didn't write the book, so I can't have him on the book show. You know what I mean? Do you still do streams with a weekly article recap? Yeah, the live show. It's every usually Saturday night. We'll be back this Saturday night for that. We didn't have it last Saturday because I was too busy watching Notre Dame get gang raped by Clemson. Couldn't watch it. So, yeah. All right. Any other questions? Did you publish the article about the death before first of kin were notified? About what death were you speaking of, Junkman? I'm not sure what story you're speaking of. You ever want to do a history lesson live? I'll participate. I love history. It's true, man. I do love history. I don't know if you guys like history. Maybe we could do that. Uncle Turtle Boy's History Hour. Talk about history. I could talk about history all fucking day. I love history. I love talking about history. Yeah. Did the Turtle family have a Merry Christmas? Yeah, we had a good Christmas. The kids got too much shit, I'll tell you that much. They don't deserve it. They were naughty. It's such a lie, Santa Claus. All this, oh, you better be nice, so Santa's not coming. Bullshit. He's coming either way. You can be as naughty as you want. The turtle children were naughty. And they still got too much shit. Too much. I don't like it. I love my kids, obviously. I love my wife. But I would prefer it if they grew up a little more humble. You know what I mean? My kids are going to be growing up very differently than me. I grew up I was the oldest of 7 children in Worcester, right? I shared a room with 2 brothers. We each got a present or 2 for Christmas, and that's it. And it kept you honest, right? And then I went to South High School, and I had cheap shoes and all that shit. We probably qualified for free lunch, but my mother would never do that. My kids are going to grow up different. My kids are living in Holden. They're going to have nice things now. You know, fucking cell phones and shit. Yeah, I guess it's nice, but I would prefer it if they were a little bit more humble, because I think it keeps you grounded, and I think they're going to grow up to be very different people than I am. So that's why I almost want to take them every week. I take them once a week to Worcester. We go and eat donuts in Worcester, and that's how we keep it cultural. And then we drive back to Holden. Oh, yeah, no, fuck his next of kin. I don't care. Oh, no, not Ron Tarantino. Everybody knew Ron Tarantino was dead. That was reported widely by the news. We had the news that the cop killer was dead. And I could give a fuck if his next of kin know about it. Right? Ron Tarantino, everyone already knew, had passed away. And that's why they were looking for a cop killer. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Junkman, he was talking about the death of the killer. Yes, so thank you for clarifying that, Nick. Had no idea when you went to UMass. Yeah, go you. Yeah, they're sucking in basketball right now. It would be nice if fucking 7-6 lost the Holy Cross. Jesus. Right? What else are people saying? It's bull. All mine don't deserve it either. Yeah, it is way too material. There are 7 turtles. In my family, there are. I'm the oldest of 7. There's 7. I only have 2, but I am the oldest of 7. That's correct. Agreed. You're the greatest thing. UMass since Victor Cruz. Oh, thanks, man. I love, going back to UMass, and I was in a fraternity at UMass, and I went back there like a year or 2 ago to go see Dave Rubin talk, and I went in there, and I told them, like, I just wanted to see the house, and I'm like, yeah, they all follow the blog, they all know it, and they're like, oh, shit, that's you? I'm like, yeah, dude, it was a cool feeling. Let's see, I gotta get back to the safety of Holden to sleep peacefully. Yeah, exactly. When's the book club meeting? Tomorrow will be the next one. Who's your favorite sibling? That's a tough one. Probably the youngest one, the baby. She is my oldest daughter's godmother. I love them all, obviously. But, yeah, probably her the most, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's see. Yeah. All right, cool. So we're going to call it a break, call it a night there. We will see you all tomorrow for the final episode this week of Book Club, before we return on Saturday night for live. And we didn't have a live last week, so we got a lot of live to catch up on. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.